Hello friends, we are very pleased that you're with us again as our channel tells about the most outstanding people of cinema. If you have already subscribed it, that's fine. If no, hurry up to do it and then sit down in a more convenient way, cause we start.
Oh no, I killed a girl!
I'm on painkillers, motherfucker! Capital!
The emphasis on more convenient is not accidental. Few people can feel comfortable when sitting like our today's hero does. He is known as an actor, director, screenwriter, musician, choreographer, and sex symbol. He's a friend of President Vladimir Putin and his friend Ramzan Kadyrov. He dances beautifully and is crazy about Beethoven, who is not a dog but German composer. He's one of the few living people awarded a monument during his lifetime. He fought on screen countless times but remembered not for his fights but for his bright dance. Do you remember Kickboxer? Regardless of your answer, let us introduce the muscles from Brussels, as they call inimitable and unfading Jean-Claude Van Damme. A staid Catholic, 55 years old, he was born on October 18, 1960, weighs 180 pounds with a height of 5 feet 10 inches. Here they are, the ideal proportions of a real star. Future celebrity, an idol of teenagers loving martial arts and the man of dreams of many thousands of women, was born in Berchem-Saint-Agathe, the suburb of Belgian capital, and received at birth the lush name Jean-Claude Camille François van Varenberg. However, a child was sticky and ugly, and if we add to this a strong short-sightedness and cowardice, let's wonder how did he have become what he became. Even his family understood that such a boy couldn't live in such a way. After one outrageous case when Jean-Claude, who attended the third form, was beaten with 2 first graders, his father, a quiet and law-abiding flower shop owner, resolutely took the offspring by the hand and took him to the karate section. Then Jean-Claude was 10, and at that moment his life divided itself into 2 parts, grey before and bright after, that lasts until now. 2 years later, Jan van Varenberg studied under the guidance of Claude Gatz, the best Belgian karate coach, who selected only the most promising guys. And the mentor wasn't mistaken. Jean-Claude spent with him 4 years and became the Belgian champion in karate. Meanwhile, future Van Damme met with Muay Thai, kickboxing, taekwondo and kung fu, and suddenly discovered classical ballet. A future star attended classes in it for 5 years until he had grown out of the tights for the business. Then the guy realized that Europe is too close to him. Yes, he shines on the rings of the old world. Until 1979 he had 48 matches, of which he won 44, but he has been sued twice. Yes, at the age of 18 he became a European champion, won the title of Mr. Belgium among bodybuilding amateurs, and got a black belt in his favorite karate. So there was nowhere else to grow. In addition to this, the young, handsome Van Varenberg already knew the essence and charm of love, and this requires effort, time and money. So, our hero decided to move to the United States, where he believed he would be able to become famous. He was already married. His chosen Maria Rodriguez was 7 years older, but she was from a good family and had money. But all this didn't help him. When an unknown Belgian opened a gym in Los Angeles, pretentiously called it California Gym, he hoped that the project would be successful. While trying to find approaches to the world of cinema, it seemed to him the fastest way to Olympus. However, everything was sad. Young athlete was under risk of inevitable bankruptcy, so he rescued and divorced a name change. It was then that Jean-Claude Van Damme appeared. He was a childhood friend of Jean-Claude who had taken his name in memory of their friendship. Nevertheless, it was one of the few successes of that period, when, as our hero likes to say, everything was about like his belt. What can you say if Van Damme seriously believed that everyone in America speaks French? And when it turned out that it wasn't, he began to learn English with viewing Flintstones. An attentive viewer easily finds that Van Damme's problems with the language lasted a very long time. It's enough to remember the names of his characters: Luc Devereaux, Alan Lefebvre, Chris Dubois, Jean Velin. In the meantime, he attached notes with his phone number under the glass of more or less luxurious cars in the parking lots in front of the studios. He was only 20, but he had already divorced. He had no permanent earnings, no prospects, but he was full of debts and a burning desire to become famous. This period included the second marriage of Van Damme, also short. He met Sylvia Derderian, the daughter of a construction magnate, and quickly married her, and divorced a few months later. The temperament of Jean-Claude differed too much from the pace of life of his wife's family. Accidentally acquainted with Jacqueline Bisset, Van Damme asked her to help with the device in the movie, but she only promised. The new disappointment didn't discourage Jean-Claude. In total, he fought his way into the cinema for 4 years, for which he worked as a driver, a bouncer of some underground fight club, and even Chuck Norris's sparring partner, so that he wasn't used to failures. However, here fortune looked on Van Damme. First, in 1986, at a party at Norris's, he met Gladys Portegas, the USA champion in bodybuilding, and secondly, he was invited to the crew of the famous Predator. Alas, Jean-Claude's quarrelsome character that developed later in bipolar disorder led to a conflict, after which the main role was given to Kevin Peter Hall. And the second coming to cinema world seemed successful. In the same 1986, Van Damme appears in the cult thriller No Retreat, No Surrender. The role of Russian fighter Ivan Krushinsky becomes the official debut of Jean-Claude, after which he didn't slip business cards under the windshield, but went to some producers by his own. One of them was Menahem Golan, and Van Damme starred in the very Bloodsport soon, which made him a real star and brought the production company to the leaders. The cost of the film, the script of which incidentally 2 years gathering dust on the shelf idol, paid off many times. $1 million turned into 31, so bringing good luck to the Belgian got offers falling like a cornucopia. Next, Kickboxer, Death Warrant, Double Impact, Universal Soldier, Hard Target, and many more films were, and in which, unusual for the American audience, Jean-Claude showed his signature stretch and twisted his signature kick in full rotation. He was nominated for the title of the most desirable man in Hollywood 3 years in a row. His fee rose sky highly, for the time up to $8 million for a movie. He became a person like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was elected as the prototype of Johnny Cage for Mortal Kombat, and teenagers around the world seeking how to become like Van Damme went to karate sections. The first sign was the decreasing in relations with his wife. At the time, Van Damme, who registered a relationship with Gladys in 1987, had already had 2 children, Christopher Julian, aka Chris Van Damme, who was born on May 20th of the same year, and Bianca, which his wife gave Jean-Claude for his 29th birthday. Unprecedented success turned the head of the young actor, and he rushed to the wings. Dozens of intrigues, complete disregard of the strict sports regime, attempts to cheer up with the illegal drugs help. According to Van Damme's confessions, he spent on cocaine up to $10,000 a week. This couldn't last long, and in 1992 Gladys filed for divorce. Surprisingly for those times and lands, but we'll speak about this later, she didn't insist on paying her and dividing fortune. It was not in Hollywood style, but she had just gone, naturally taking the children, for whom Jean-Claude remained a loving and generous father despite all his quirks. He twisted love with Darcy Lapierre, a model at the time. She was famous for her love stories with the most famous and rich man. Jean-Claude and Darcy had love, they had a wedding, they had a son Nicholas too, by the way, born next to his dad. Jean-Claude even starred with her in Street Fighter, but this role was only an episode, primarily in the career of Darcy, who in 1997 demanded a divorce. At the same time, Van Damme was accused of extramarital relations with Princess Stephanie of Monaco, Kylie Minogue, and a good hundred of known and unknown women, as well as alcohol and drug addiction and inadequate behavior. Movies he starred first ceased to become an event, and soon they didn't even cover the cost of their production. And the only person who was near Jean-Claude at the time was Gladys. It was she who came to help him in 1999 when Van Damme was very bad. He threw drugs on the method of cold turkey, a sharp and complete rejection, and none of those who called themselves his friends didn't find a chance just to be with him. None except the former but still loving wife. So the actor who got rid of his addiction thanked her for marrying her in a small Belgian church and lives with her in albeit repeated but happy marriage. However, evil tones say that 10 years ago Van Damme allowed himself to romance on the side again, this time allegedly with the Ukrainian dancer Elena Kaverina, met her in Thailand. She accompanied by the actor in his voyages for some years, posing as his interpreter but hinting that somebody closer. Oh no, first it's already over, and secondly Gladys was silent, so there was nothing of it. After the final Jean-Claude's return to his wife, he recovered professionally. Several years of rehabilitation, of persistent struggle with mental illness and patient recovery passed, and Jean-Claude produces side biopic GCVD that earned the praise of critics and allowed to claim Van Damme returns. All this couldn't have happened if it were not for the love and understanding of his wife, with whom Jean-Claude happy in a chic, even by the LA standards, mansion worth $3.5 million. The Van Dammes are doing well, their children are healthy, by the way they flashed in several films that their father shot, and the bank account allows them not to doubt about tomorrow and even the day after tomorrow. The current state of actor is estimated at about $30 million. In any case, they can buy one of the 375 exclusive hybrids McLaren P1, which costs more than $1 million, and a rare Ford Mustang Shelby. However, the most important thing is Jean-Claude Van Damme is still in demand. There are several movies with him in production. He's invited to the jury of various festivals, and his charitable work earned him the deserved love of animal defenders. He's almost 60, but he still weighs his 180 pounds, and his blue eyes still emit the soft light, attracting viewers to the era of Bloodsport and Hard Target. Okay, this is all, but only for today. Even if after watching this video you just do not hit us with a foot like Jean-Claude, our channel will be grateful. Nevertheless, generally we would like to likes. After all, we try to please our viewers and promise to strive for perfection in the future.